Welcome back. It is Thursday, January 4th in the NBA. My two favorite picks are on the way. Let's recap yesterday. A very solid day for us, 5-2 overall. Let's talk about it. Now we look at our winners. We had Jalen Brunson's over in points plus assists. We'll take it. I told you, if Brunson ever shoots really bad, just look at his overs the next game, and he obviously easily cashed that. Emmanuel quickly, he easily cashes over in points. And we had that Pistons and Jazz same game parlay. That Jazz game was ridiculous last night. Very cool game to watch, and we cashed at a plus 130 SGP there. Now, I did say after the video that I would add some plays, and we added two, and they went 2-0. Hopefully you check those out. They're always in the pinned comment. Not going to add any plays today, but they were Bogdan Bogdanovic. His over in points, he cashed easily in the second quarter. Then we had to sweat out an Anthony Davis under 29.5 points. He ended with 29. Look, our unders are just getting hit with some absolute garbage. We had to sweat through Anthony Davis playing a season high in minutes in regulation, played 43 minutes and ended with and shot really efficiently. Look, unders are going to go on a good run. I just know that. And then our two losses, we had Jalen Johnson's over in 11.5 rebounds plus assists. My biggest play of the day was 1.5 units. Oh, I'm kicking myself, man, because I was going to take his PRA line, which was sweat free. He set a season high, I think probably a career high in points. He just got into foul trouble early and couldn't pile up rebounds and assists, ended with 10. And then Tyler Hero's over in PRAs. I mean, as I was sweating Anthony Davis, I got to watch Tyler Hero sit on the bench for the whole fourth quarter until like the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They brought him back in, got 4 PRAs, ended about 3 short. Just an annoying one where Eric Spoelstra just didn't play him a lot. But I'm not going to complain about a 5-2 day. We had some good luck in there, some bad luck in there. It is what it is. We're going to keep moving, and hopefully we can continue that momentum with a 2-0 day today. A reminder, if you ever need any sportsbook sign-up bonuses or any deposit match offers on a bunch of daily fantasy apps, be sure to look down below in the description. Code COS for a lot of those daily fantasy apps like PrizePicks, Sleeper, Underdog, Fantasy, Parlay, Play. Use our code and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. And then also you get a bunch of other sportsbook deposit bonuses down there. But you guys came for some picks. I got 2 of them for you. The first one, we're going to actually start. We'll have 2 games on, so don't force a ton into these plays. We're going to go into the first one. It's a 1-unit play. We're actually going to the second game where the Nuggets are on the road taking on the Warriors. And I'm going to Jamal Murray over 21.5 points, minus 115 on PointsBet. Now, I was close, and if you remember, on Christmas Day, we took Jamal Murray's over in the identical spot. However, he took his points plus rebounds line that game. I was going to do the same thing here. However, the points plus rebounds was about 26.5. And by that point, I mean, you would need him to get at least 5 rebounds to make the lines equivalent. You need 6 to make it worth taking the points plus rebounds. I don't really want to trust on Jamal Murray to grab 6 boards tonight, although he certainly could. Now, I'd rather just trust him to put the ball in the basket. I really like Jamal Murray in this matchup for the same reasons that we talked about him on Christmas Day. He actually plays pretty well against the Warriors. His last 3 games against them, you look at him, 33, 26, and 28 points on 23, 21, and 18 field goal attempts. And if you look at his last 3 road games in general, he's shot 19, 19, and 22 times. Some of those games he was in a minutes restriction. Now, Recently, we haven't seen Nikola Jokic be as aggressive trying to shoot the basketball, and that might continue in not a great spot for him to score. But Jamal Murray's going to have a plus matchup here where he's going to have to go out there and be aggressive. And we saw in that game on December 25th, he was aggressive there. He shot a ton, and he easily hit the over in points, 18 shots in that game. But you look at the Nuggets, they haven't played a road game since December 23rd, so maybe they struggle a little bit here out the gates, and would not surprise me if they are losing this game, which should obviously bode well for Jamal Murray to be more aggressive towards the second half. But it's still a Warriors team with elite rim protection, with or without Draymond Green, who obviously is still suspended. They're still pretty good at stopping people attacking the rim, and that's kind of where Jokic does the majority of his damage. And with Trace Jackson Davis on Jokic to start, which I don't honestly love that matchup for him, they're probably going to just, when any Jokic sets a screen, you're probably not going to go off Jokic, and they're going to see Jamal Murray probably get an open lane to the hoop, or get some open mid-range shots, or even open threes. I really think he has a good chance at knocking down some shots tonight. And look, Jamal actually is much better on the road. He's averaging 22.4 points per game on the road this season, 4.4 more than at home. And you look, he's shooting 6.7% better on the road too, at about 50.7%, I believe. So look, I look at this Warriors team. Obviously now down Gary Payton Jr., a very good, guard defender off the bench. Wiggins is coming off the bench. And in their starting lineup, you got, the 3-headed attack of CP3, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson with Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis in there. I really don't like any of those guys defensively to match up well with Jamal Murray, so I think he has plenty of open opportunities. This is a matchup, regardless of who they put on him. If they want to put Kuminga, he's obviously a bigger guy, but I think Jamal Murray will be able to find his spots. He's obviously smaller, but can kind of get to his spots and get in and out of those breaks a little bit better than Kuminga. So I really think that Jamal Murray is a good spot here tonight. We'll take his over 21.5 points, minus 115. I like it at 22.5 too. If it goes to 22.5, definitely take a peek at that points plus rebounds line. I probably would like that a little bit more, given if difference is only 4, but obviously take a look, see what you like. Jamal Murray, we like him tonight. Give me his over in points. Now, my second play, I'm going to go back to the first game where we have the Bucks going on the road to take on the Spurs. And I'm actually going to do a same game parlay here. And let's talk about this one, and then I'll talk about a couple pivots. But it's two fellas that I really like their matchups tonight. It's Damian Lillard of the Bucks, 25 plus points, and Devin Vassell of the Spurs, 15 plus points, minus 110 on FanDuel. Now, before you even comment down below, Austin, my book doesn't have Damian Lillard props. Yeah, I don't know why. We don't have a lot of Bucks props available this morning. I think the only books, a lot of books have Giannis props, but a lot of them don't have Damian Lillard props. I think FanDuel was the only one, and they had his points line set to 27.5. Now, I honestly was just going to take Damian Lillard's over in points. However, 27.5, tad steep for me. If it was like 25.5, boom, I'd press send and wouldn't even include Vassell here. But I like Vassell as well in this matchup. Also, would not be surprised if Chris Middleton does not play tonight. I think that's why they're hesitant to put Bucks lines up there, because the Bucks obviously coming off a back-to-back. I don't think Chris Middleton has played in a single back-to-back this season. But let's talk about this matchup between these two teams, obviously cross-conference. And we saw in the first matchup between these two teams, well, the Bucks won that game by 13 points. They're 9.5-point favorites today. Lillard, 40 points on 22 field goal attempts. Of Vassell, 17 points on 18 field goal attempts. A very inefficient night for Vassell, very efficient night for Damian Lillard. Now, you look at Lillard, we'll talk about him first, why I like him in this matchup. Well, one, the Spurs don't play any defense, but number two, Lillard also coming off a stretch of really bad games. In fact, the last two games, both versus the Pacers, 13 and 23 points, wasn't due to a lack of opportunity. He shot a combined 9 for 34, 26% in those two games. I think we know Damian Lillard. He's been one of the best scorers over the last decade, much better than a 26% shooter, and then a very plus matchup. I like him to get it done, especially if Chris does not play in 4 games. On the last 4 without Chris, 34, 27, 31, and 33 points, crushing this line. Spurs don't have anyone that can match up even close to it, Damian Lillard. And we saw last time these two teams played, Giannis was just kind of passing it around. He had like 16 assists. I think this is a good game for Damian Lillard to get back on track. I really like him. I think he plays a lot of minutes. Normally plays the whole third quarter too, which if this is a blowout, you'll get him in that third. I really like Damian Lillard tonight to get us 25 plus points. I think the 27.5 could be sharp, but he could easily score 30 today, and that would not really surprise anyone. Now, let's talk about Devin Vassell. Obviously, I was considering him or Wembanyama for 15 points. I leaned with Vassell. He's coming off a bad game, only 11 points on 3 of 8 shooting last game. That's unacceptable for one of their best players to only shoot 8 times. I think he gets back to shooting it a ton, and prior to that, we had seen him score 15 plus in 4 straight, and I believe 6 of his last 7, not 5. But I really do think this is just a good spot for Vassell to just attack the Bucks, who we know the Bucks don't really play a lot of defense. You take your guards versus them. Now, that I will note, they have been much better against the three-point line over the past 10 games or so. Really only giving them like 8 to 10 threes a game, but they're also giving up a ton of attempts. Just the teams they're playing are shooting like 28% from 3. Now, is it that A, their defense is really good, or B, the guys just aren't making shots? I probably lean towards more B, because I just don't think guys are just knocking out shots against them. But Vassell, coming off a bad game, only shot 8 times, also playing, Keldon Johnson still on the bench. There's going to be enough volume here for Vassell against the Bucks. We always talk about take your guards against the Bucks, and Vassell would be just that, especially with them banged up. Zach Collins out, Malachi Branham, normally the guy that starts at point for him. He's also projected out. So I think Vassell has the ball in his hands a ton. With Wembanyama setting screens, I can't imagine Giannis, who's probably guarding Wemby, goes off of Wemby. So I really do think Vassell, a guy that has played well in this matchup, last 3 versus Milwaukee, 22, 16, and 17 points. So I think we'll have a good chance at getting it done. I really do like Vassell. I like Damian Lillard in this matchup at 25 points and 15 points. I really think this is a good one. Minus 110. I think I'd probably play it up to about minus 125. I really think you could actually get better value as the day goes on. Obviously, when Chris Middleton, if he does get announced out, you'll probably see Damian Lillard's line jump up, but I bet you it jumps a little bit back down. So I really like this same game parlay. I don't really love that first game, honestly. I think the Damian Lillard, Devin Vassell same game parlay is where I want to go, and then kind of avoid that game. Now, let's talk about a TNT risk-free same game parlay. I'm going to throw it all up on the screen. Now, if you're like, what the heck is this, Austin? And how are we tracking this? Well, number one, FanDuel, if you are on FanDuel, they have a TNT promo where if you combine, I think it has to be 3 legs and a plus 400 or better same game parlay, it's risk-free for your first one of the day. Just make sure you opt in. And so obviously that's what we're doing here. So I'm not going to track this towards my record because this technically is risk-free for me. So if it loses, I'm getting my money back. Now let's talk with the legs that I'm putting on here. You could do a same game parlay plus where you combine some Bucks and Spurs lines with the Nuggets and Warriors. But I don't really like the Bucks and Spurs going, honestly. So I'm just going to avoid it altogether. I'll just go straight to the second game where I think we had a really good chance of getting a close game here. Now we'll talk about Jamal Murray, 20 plus points. I like him. Michael Porter Jr., 15 plus points. He's actually had a really good track record against the Warriors. I consider his over 16.5 points, but we know it's Michael Porter Jr., but really good track record. Go check out his game logs against the Warriors. Been really good against them. Now, Aaron Gordon, 10 plus points and 6 plus rebounds. Hasn't been really good on crashing the glass recently, but he always crashes the glass against the Warriors. So I like him in that spot. 10 points should be pretty easy for him with them putting so much focus on Jokic. So I bet you have some good dump offs to Gordon to get some easy lay-ins. Also been shooting it a lot against them, and 6 rebounds. I know it hasn't been the greatest hit rate recently, but I really do think he's going to have some opportunities to grab some boards. He normally does against the Warriors. Jokic, 10 plus boards, 10 plus rebounds. He should easily be able to get that done. I considered his rebounds plus assist prop. The next one, Chris Paul, 10 plus points. This was another straight bet I was really close to doing. I just didn't really want to have too much skin involved, and just, I didn't want to have too many picks on just a 2-game slate. But I really like Chris Paul's over in points tonight. Obviously, it's CP3. He could not shoot tonight, but feels like a game where you're probably going to have KCP on Stephen Curry, who's actually the last leg for 25 points. But I just think that you're going to need CP3 to also be aggressive. And Jokic, we know he plays a lot of drop coverage. So I think CP3 will get opportunities. If he wants to go and attack the mid-range, he certainly could. I'll be curious how CP3 plays in the first half. If he does not play well, maybe has 0 points at halftime, considering live betting him. And he's normally a guy that normally steps up in the third. But either way, Steph Curry, 25 plus points. I don't think the Warriors can keep this game close unless Steph is playing pretty well. So this is plus 1,202 odds. You could put $10 on it. Payout would be about 130. I think that's fine. I wouldn't really risk a ton of money on this. If you're using the FanDuel risk-free promo, definitely take advantage of that they got out there. But I really think this is a good, a little dart throw. It's not. I don't expect it to hit, but I think we got a chance here. We got some good hit rates for the last few matchups between these two teams, and I think we got a good chance here. So I will take a stab at that. Plus 1,200 odds on that 7-leg same-game parlay. That is risk-free if you're using it on FanDuel. Just make sure you opt in. Normally, I know there will be people asking for a quick link. I don't have the ability to add a quick link just yet. I think the company that I have that helps me do it, because it's not easy to do through FanDuel, they're down for maintenance or something. I don't really know. Now, I didn't actually I was actually not going to mention this in this video, but if you have made it this far, I do want to note, I'm going to some NBA games next week. So I'm going to put them up on the screen. If you want to meet me, or maybe you are going to any of these games or you're in these local areas, definitely let me know. Would love to meet you guys if you're at any of the games. Here they are. We're going to a Bulls and Rockets game, I believe, next Wednesday. Then I believe on Thursday is a Bucks-Celtics game in Milwaukee. And then I believe I'm going to the Sunday game where I believe the Clippers are on the road in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves, which I booked the tickets a while back. Now looks like a really good matchup. So if you want to see me at any of those games, I'll be in Minneapolis probably from Friday to Sunday. I think I fly out on Monday morning, but no, I like to go to all the games and just kind of take in the atmosphere. So if you're in Chicago and you're potentially want to go to that Rockets game, I'll be there. I'll post more about that later on next week. I'll be at that Bucks game, obviously, right after the fact, driving, I believe, right after the Bulls game that night, driving overnight to Milwaukee, which is not a long drive. So we'll do that. And then I'll be going over to Minneapolis. They do have a game on Friday against the Portland Trailblazers, but this guy's not going to a Blazers Timberwolves game. Nope. I'll rather just go to the Clippers and T-Wolves one, which I believe is on Sunday. But either way, just want to put that out there. I know I've met a lot of you guys in person, which is always awesome, but I know some people might probably clicked off by the end of this video. But if you certainly are here all the way to the end, I appreciate you. And hopefully I get to meet some more of you guys at those games. I'll talk about that more probably next week, probably as we get closer. Probably talk about it on Monday if I remember. But if you have any questions, definitely feel free to shoot me a DM on Twitter. Probably the easiest way for me to see your message. Just shoot it to me at Calling a Shot if you're not following us there. Definitely go do that. But it's Austin. Let's go Jamal Murray. Go score some points. Devin Vassell, Damian Lillard, put the ball in the basket. Let's have a wonderful 2-0 day. Continue this little 5-2 run. It's going to start to string together some winning days. Keep the momentum going. I'll see you guys back again tomorrow with some more picks. It's Friday. We have a big slate. I'll see you guys then. Peace.